to go get stuff from the audience. Okay, when I ask, go get stuff from the audience. And then, if you come back fast enough and you claim your seat, you get to participate. But if you come back and I take away a chair, you lose the game. How's that? Okay? All right, so we're going to practice. This is what we're going to practice. Okay. Go get a slipper from your friend. Get a slipper from your friend. Okay, see how the game, you see how the game is played? Right? Okay, that was practice, Come on, sit down. That was practice. Okay, so you guys see how that was played? It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. You cannot have the things you gotta go get it from your friends or people in the audience. People back there, the adults, you gotta be able to ask, but ask nicely. Right? Because some of the stuff they have, you don't have, or your friends don't have in the audience. But you gotta go get them, all right? Okay. Go get a program from today's event. Go get a program from today's event. Get a program. All right, be nice. Walk nicely, yeah. Get a program from today's event. And these are the Boys and Girls Club from, yeah, okay, sit down, get down, sit down, oh, sit down. Ah, give her a round of applause. We got something for you. Hold on, we got something for you. We got something for you. See, there's a game, get something for you. All right, you're welcome. Okay. Get an empty cup. Get an empty cup. Hurry up, go. Get an empty cup. And that's a cup. A cup. Get an empty cup. Ah. Yeah, empty cup. Somebody was done? Okay. All right, good job. Good job. All right, sorry. Okay, give it up. Give it up for, yeah, good job. You get something too, right? Okay, we're down to our 3 finalists. Our 3 finalists. Okay, all right. Bring back slippers. Slipper, not Crocs. Slippers. Get a slipper. Get a slipper. Oh, you cannot use yours. You cannot use yours. Ah. Good job. Good job. Okay, we're down to 2. Hold on, but I got something for you. I got something for you because you participated. What we got? Yeah. Oh. Yes. There you go, buddy. Okay. Our last 2 contestants, everyone. Our last 2 contestants. Oh, this one should be fun. This one you gotta work hard for. Let's see. Show me a picture of a pet on a cell phone. Go! Grab your phone. You gotta ask for some money. Go. Oh, la, la, la. Good job. What is that? Whose cat is this? Ah, that's beautiful. Hold on, I got something for you. Right on. Okay. You got a $25 gift card from Target. Good job. All right, my name is Uncle Augie. How's it? Hi, everybody. Uncle Augie. Augie. You name your cat Augie? That is awesome. And say hi to the cameraman, everybody. Look at. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How many of you guys know what you guys want to be already? Let me. It's awesome. I like that because when I was in the 4th grade, I already knew what I wanted to be. No, I wanted to be a comedian, and I became one. What are you going to be? An automotive engineer. Let's ask somebody over here. What about you? A dress designer. A math teacher, nurse. Come on, what about you? An FBI agent. Attorney. Multimedia artist. How about you? A 4th grade teacher. Come on, give them all a round of applause. Look at that. That's so inspiring. That's so inspiring. Yeah, when I was in the 4th grade, I saw a comedian and I knew that's what I wanted to become. He made me laugh so much, I was like, that's what I want to become. And I became that. How cool is that, right? And now I still do that, but also I'm a city councilman on Oahu. I still do TV, I still do, there's so much things that I still do, but like the cool thing is that at a very early age, because I was around great people, right? And people that stayed safe, did things together, I was motivated the correct way. And I love being around people that was going to challenge me and show me new things. So, this is our career side of today's conference. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some of our guest speakers. And they're going to come up here and they're going to share with you. There you go. So, if I can get Puanani He. Where's Puanani He? Ladies and gentlemen, come on, Puanani. She's gonna take the stage. Puanani He is, well, she's gonna tell you what she does so that maybe some of you guys who are thinking about becoming, you guys will get like, ooh, that's what I wanna be. Okay, where's Dr. Ron Fujimoto? Dr. Ron Fujimoto, everybody, come on. Where is Ramlin Pauline Hanif? Where's there? There she is. Okay. Riley Higa. Riley Higa. Come on, Riley. And ladies and gentlemen, these are our panelists. We're going to have you guys take the stage. You guys all, well, we have several mics. And they're going to tell you guys what they do and why they do the things they do, and hopefully because you're here, you'll be inspired, right? You'll be inspired to go, man, that's what I want to become. Okay, all right, panelists, you can go ahead, maybe introduce yourself, and share with them. Sorry, I'm so stomach today. Okay, so I'll let the panelists introduce themselves, tell them what they do. And maybe if we're quick enough, we can do a little question and answer. Okay? We can do a question and answer at the end.
I was thinking one question for me and one question for the audience, kind of go back.
Okay, sounds good. All right. You want to pass it? We want to start? All right.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? Thanks for making the walk over, and thank you to Waimea High School students for taking time out of their summer break to be here as well. So my name is Alice, and I'm just going to moderate, and I want you guys to ask our panelists questions, because the whole point of this is to show you some examples of folks who, many of whom grew up here in Hawaii and chose careers in healthcare in various capacities, in various jobs. And there's lots of great careers in healthcare. It's what we call a growth industry, and it's one that's where you can make a good living. So why don't we start with just some introductions, and we'll start with Kaua'i. Hi everyone.
on a state-funded project that uses data to inform the clinical, administrative, and system-level decisions that we make at CAMD, and I do a little bit of direct service. Also, super excited to see all of you and talk with you today. And I was born and raised on Kaua'i. I'm from the west side, from Kaua'i.
Aloha. I am going to be the principal of the group. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Dr. Ron Fujimoto. I am a family physician by training. I also want you to know, because many of you are young, there are two types of physicians. There are MDs and there are DOs. I am a DO, which means I'm a doctor of osteopathic medicine. So in addition to doing surgery, prescribing drugs, and doing everything else, we also know the art of manipulation, which is like lomi, you know, like a chiropractor does adjustments. So that's what a DO does. I was from Kaua'i, Waha Road, and
aloha everybody. Young kids right there, who among you plays sports? Okay, good. And who among you have been injured? Yeah, I thought so too. You guys are my peeps. Auntie here is a physical therapist, and I specialize in sports and manual therapy. And that's how I rehabilitate people, is to put them back to where they want to be, like sports. I also take care of people from the hospital who are hospitalized, and I get them walking. Somebody told me once, oh, they pay you to walk people? Well, yeah, they do. But that is an awesome job, because from bedridden, I get them up and walking and go home. So that's what a physical therapist does. I'm Auntie Pauline, and I work on the west side, the best in the west. And I work from 0 to 100. I am born and raised in the Philippines, and I moved here about 17 years ago. And this is my home.
Hello everyone, my name is Riley. I'm originally from California. I actually only moved to Kauai about 1 year ago. And I work at the Department of Health as a community health worker. It's a little bit different than some of the other job opportunities in healthcare. We work more at a community level than an individual patient level. So instead of one-on-one patient service if you're sick, we're aimed more at preventing illnesses in the community. So I work in the chronic disease section. That's going to include diseases that last a long time and they don't get transferred to each other, like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, other things like that. So we try and promote a lot of health activities that can help reduce those in our community. And as a part of our section, we try and represent all the different communities on Kauai. So do we have any Native Hawaiians out there? All right. Any Filipinos? All right, plenty Filipinos. Any Marshallese?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or any Micronesian? And all sorts of other communities. We try and represent all the communities across Kauai. We have different health workers who specialize in that and can provide language services and other cultural services to help people access different parts of the healthcare system. So it's a great place to work, and it gives you a chance to give back to your community that you grew up in.
My name is Jada. I'm Auntie Jada to most of you. And I'm a nurse. I was born and raised in Koloa. And when I decided I wanted to be in the healthcare field. I was about your age or younger, and on Kaua'i there weren't many opportunities to go to school and to be in the healthcare field. So I chose nursing. It's the best decision I ever made. I was probably the first person you saw because I was in labor and delivery for many, many years. So I was the nurse who helped with deliveries and took care of the little babies right after they were born. So if you decide that you want to be in the healthcare industry, there's so many things that you can do as a nurse. You can be, helping babies, helping kapuna, and doing things in the community, like Riley. We work very closely with Pauline and the doctors to just, help patients and do what we love to do. So I would say that if you're thinking, I wonder if I should be a nurse or a PT, or just start with getting yourselves in the hospital. So sign up for the volunteer programs in the Waimea Health group. I know that you guys are going to start an adventure next year where you're going to start working with us in the hospital at KVMH. So it's a really great opportunity to kind of feel it out, see if you really like it or not, because no sense you go to school for like 4 or 5 years and then decide that, oh, that's not really what I want to be. So just volunteer first and get into the hospital setting, if that's what you want.
Thank you. So just to start us off, how many of you are interested in a career in healthcare? Okay, all the hosts of kids should be written down. How many others? Okay, we got 1, 2, maybe? Yeah, okay. All right, let's see where we are at the end of the talk then, okay? All right, so I'm going to ask the first question, and then after they're all done with this question, we're going to go to you. So get your questions ready, okay? Okay, so first question, just share with us about your career path to the profession, like starting from high school to now.
In high school, I had a really interesting course. I actually got to take psychology, an advanced placement psychology course, and I think that really piqued my interest in the field. I went away for college to Oregon State, which is really not where you go to be a psychologist, but it worked out okay. It's where you go to be like an engineer or other things like that. In college, I majored in psychology, had a number of different opportunities to gain some practical experience and some early research experience also. When I was going to graduate, I decided that I wanted to continue to pursue the field, and I knew that I was really interested in helping people, and trying to help kids and their families specifically. So I applied for graduate school. At the time, I knew I wanted to come home, and I applied to 2 programs, the 2 programs available in Hawaii. I had no idea what it entailed to apply for graduate school at that point in my life. And I was working towards acceptance at one program and got a rejection letter from the other. What I decided to do at that point in time was take a break, really get some experience, and so I did some volunteer work, I got some research experience, and I also worked as a job called a skills trainer, really helping kids meet their goals identified in their individualized education plans at the Department of Education to get me some practical experience. I also took some coursework at the University of Hawaii at Manoa and then tried again to apply to graduate school. This time I got in and completed my graduate work there. During graduate school, I had a lot of opportunities to get diverse experience. So that meant working in different clinical settings, really working with different populations, with different concerns, and really psychology and becoming a psychologist is a pretty diverse career. I think we often think of it like what you see on TV, somebody serving as a therapist, really talking to one particular patient or a couple of different clients, but there's a lot more to it. And it is a helping profession, but there is some diversity in it where you can work in a number of different settings, get to work in integrated settings with a number of different colleagues, and also really use your skill set to help to inform administrative, research, policy, and also really practical clinical opportunities as well. So I got some diverse experience, got my degree, and then had the opportunity to move back to Kaua'i to work at our local Kaua'i Family Guidance Center here. After doing that for a few years, I was offered more of an administrative role where I still do some clinical work serving children and families, but also use my skill set to inform some of the initiatives within our division as well.
Okay, I'm gonna name drop some doctors. So while I'm not the only doctor from Kaua'i that's practicing here, I'm probably the oldest doctor from Kaua'i. So some of the other doctors that are from Kaua'i that were practicing here, and Dr. Paul Isaki actually was my mentor. He was someone that I kind of like emulated. Dr. Bernard Riola is a pediatrician. Anyone know Dr. Riola? So he's a West Side pediatrician. Dr. Grace Galiza is a pediatrician at Kaua'i Medical Clinic. And Dr. Kleiner Antolin is an OBGYN at also Kaua'i Medical Clinic. And I mean, this might be HIPAA, but one of the few patients that I saw, I finally got to be a physician. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that I'm going back a little bit before college. I'm a product of public school. So a lot of people think that if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to the best schools, private schools. I went to Kaua'i school, then Kaua'i High School. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're public school too.
I'm a graduate of Kaua'i Elementary School.
So what I'm trying to say is that there's three things that I want you guys to remember for those that in the front rows. Stay out of trouble if you can while you're having fun. Pay attention in school and use every opportunity to learn something new. If you keep those three things in mind, regardless of what you decide, you're going to be successful. So, back to my story. I also went to University of Hawaii. And one of the things about, I think some of us in the higher levels of being physicians and professionals is when you apply to these schools, it's very competitive. So some people will get in on their first try. I will tell you this, and my boss is sitting there, so I hope he doesn't fire me after this. I did not get into UH Med School on my first attempt. I did not get into UH Med School on my second attempt or my third attempt. I got into the College of Osteopathic Medicine in California. And one of the lessons here is if you have a desire, pursue your passion. Open your horizons and you will get there. The other thing is that these professional schools are not inexpensive. There's also a lot of scholarships, and I don't know if you heard or not, the governor has this loan repayment programs. It's going to be really good for a lot of you here. So most of you, if you want to pursue higher education, you'll probably be able to do it without worrying about the cost of education. But you have to keep in mind the determination and perseverance. If you want that higher level degree, you have to keep on trying.
So my career path. Right after high school, all I wanted to be is a hairdresser. Because I like hairs, look. Well, my mom wasn't having it. She is a teacher, she's a retired teacher, and she insisted that everybody, all her kids would have an education, a degree. In fact, she aimed high for us. And she paid for all our education, which, you know what, that is something I am really, really thankful for. Well, not everybody here has that luxury. So when I graduated from high school, I went right away to physical therapy school, and at that time it was a bachelor's degree. After 5 years, I'm a physical therapist. Now what? Well, in the Philippines, there's no job for therapists. People don't go to a therapist unless they're dying, pretty much dead, or, you know, it's lost cause. Well, let's fast forward. I moved to the US through marriage. Now, English is my second language. The reason why I'm telling you this is because there might be Filipinos here whose first language is not English. And I want to emphasize this. A lot of Filipinos that have moved from the Philippines are capable of being a professional and choose not to be a professional because they're not able to verbalize themselves well enough. Now, let me tell you, you just have to push yourself. Just speak up. If English is your second language, make it better. Enhance yourself. Do something about it. Because I know there are skills that could be enhanced, and that's one thing. So anyway, I fought my way. I got my license here as a physical therapist. And at the time, there's only a position for physical therapy assistant, which I'm like, okay, I'll take that, just to get my foot in the door. And then after several years, there was an opening, and now I'm the senior physical therapist in my department. And I gotta tell you, I am not having any regrets to push through. I could have had plenty other jobs, but the reward on the job is, it's just so rewarding to get somebody who is bedridden to be able to go home walking and independent again. All right, now as far as career track here in the US, if you want to be a physical therapist, occupational therapist, nowadays it's a doctorate degree. So you need a 4-year degree, 4-year bachelor's, and then you're gonna have to apply to physical therapy school, which is another 3 years. So that right there is about 7 years, give or take, 8 years if you're not full with your credits and everything. But I should say it is something that's very rewarding. You know that every day you're helping people. And if you do have further questions, I mentor young kids. Dylan Ishihara, Kaylee Tamura, these are local kids that we mentored who are now holding their own licenses as physical therapists on islands. So just feel free to call me at KVMH, okay?
Okay, so for me, my career path was a little bit windy. I've worked a lot of random jobs. I worked as a termite inspector, a sports coach, custodian. I used to help people go to the bathroom at drug court, all sorts of random stuff. But for me, when I was in school, I never knew what I wanted to do. So instead of picking something to do, I just went to college. And at college, you have to eventually you have to decide on a major. So I just picked, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try and be a doctor. but I didn't really want to go to medical school. So I ended up with a degree in health, but I didn't want to pursue anymore because I kind of didn't want to go to school anymore. After 15 years of school, I wanted a break. So I just settled with my health degree, and I said I want to pursue something in public health. And since then, I've been able to land a couple jobs in public health, first on the mainland and then here in Kaua'i. So I guess the message there is there's a lot of job opportunities in healthcare and in public health that aren't necessarily, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do. You might not even know about the opportunities yet, but take a look at your local health department. There's plenty you can do to get involved in healthcare, and it doesn't mean you have to go to 6 years of medical school or 4 years of doctorate school, unless you want to. If you want to do that, go ahead. But if you don't want to do that and you still want to get involved in health, there's a lot of opportunities at the community level for public health care workers in many different ways. All sorts of different fields, from water testing to public health nursing to food safety, vector control, killing mosquitoes and catching mongooses and all sorts of fun like that. So there's plenty of different opportunities that involve health and mental health as well that aren't all related to being a doctor or a nurse or a physical therapist.
I think that I'm the second oldest person here because I know all of the people that Dr. Fujimoto named. I worked with them. So how many of you have a grandma or a grandpa? And how many of you helped them? Yeah? So that was my first job. I was my grandma's helper. She was a nurse, a retired nurse, and she needed help. So I would sleep over at her house, clean her house, help her to the shower, do all those kinds of things. And that kind of taught me that, that's how you take care of people. That's what I do. That's what I do now. How many of you like math? Yeah? Good. Science? Yeah? How many of you can read? Oh, good. I'm glad that all the Waimea students raised your hands for that. But all of those things, pay attention in school. How many of you go to Big Save? Yeah, that was my first job. My first job paid for my school because, somebody's got to pay for it. Nowadays, you can go to school. It's not a barrier. You don't have to think, oh my gosh, I can't afford school. It's open to you, but you got to work hard. You got to study. You got to do the applications. You got to listen when the auntie's talking. Oh. So, continue on that path and figure out what you want to be before it's at that point where you're just kind of wasting time, okay?
Thank you. All right, are you ready? First audience question, who wants to ask? Don't all raise your hands at once. All right.
Okay. All right, hold on. The microphone is coming. All right. And your name, sir?
Mason,
Mason, okay, what's your question?
how did you decide on your career now? How did you decide on which career was best for you?
How did you decide on what career was best for you?
I'll just let
That's a
everybody
great question.
Does everyone answer?
Well, I wanted to be a judge, and then I found out you had to be a lawyer first, and I was not very excited about that. I do think growing up on the West Side, I really saw a lot of strengths to our communities and a lot of needs also, and I knew that I wanted to be able to help those needs. I do think it was that class in high school that was very interesting to me, and also just some of the other opportunities that I had along the way. So one of my early jobs, two of them actually, one was to support students in summer. So when I was in high school, I got to work to support summer school for the Department of Education as a summer aide. And then I also got to work at a program called Kaua'i. Some of you may have got to go to it. It's a summer program sponsored by Kamehameha Schools. Both of those programs were working with kids, and I knew that I was passionate about working with and supporting kids and supporting the needs of our community. So all of those things coupled together, also with the fact that I decided that even though being a judge sounded super cool, I didn't want to have to be a lawyer first, really helped to shape what I ultimately wanted to do. And then every single work experience I had that was closer and closer to my field really reinforced that I made a decision that would help to keep me happy, was consistent with my goals, and that I had fun doing. That's really important, that it's something that you ultimately enjoy also.
Yeah, that's super important, right? You don't want to go to a job that you hate. That's like going to a class that you don't like, right? You got to find other classes in the day to go. The reason why I'm going to English because I get music at the end of the day. So that's a great answer. All right, Doc.
So this whole conference, the first and second day was about how we can improve ourselves, I guess, strengthen ourselves. And there's actually a very consistent theme, and that is if you help someone else, you actually feel good about it. Confucius said, if you find a job you like, you will never work at it again, because you're always doing what you like. How did I choose my profession? In certain ways it was kind of selfish, but I wanted originally to save the whales. I wanted to protect the environment, save the whales. After I got my degree, I found out the reality of having a bachelor's in biology was I could be a high school teacher. I was too close to that, and I remember how students would make fun of all their teachers. I could work as a biologist, but there's no jobs in biology here. And the third is I could sell insurance, because at that time they were saying you could sell insurance with any bachelor's degree. So I then looked at reality and I said, I think I'm going to be a doctor because I get all the prerequisites. Again, a lot of education, but how many of you have wanted something so much you could feel it? And if you have that, some people call it a calling in healthcare. If you have that, it will come to fruition. And when that happens, it's going to be the best moment of your life. And all of the failures and rejections and everything is just going to make it sweeter. You're just going to feel it. But anyway, I chose family practice because I would be able to do as much as I could. It's kind of a generalist, master of all, but not, really not specializing in anything. But I really enjoyed my job. I've actually grown into her administration. I work for the Kaua'i Health Systems Corporation, which is the hospitals that KBMH owns. My boss is over there, kind of watching me. Thanks. But it was a good journey. I'm telling you right now, you guys might think, I was in your place at one time, and I thought to myself, I could never be a doctor. Believe me, if that is your passion, you can be anything you want to be.
Was everybody listening earlier what I wanted to be? What's that? Yeah, you're excited. That's what I wanted to be until I got forced by my mom to be a physical therapist. Woohoo. Well, one of the other things that I wanted to be is to become a doctor, but funds are low. So I didn't go to that track and just finish my bachelor's and moved here. And my first job here in the US is at the health department. One of the co-workers I work with is Ray Ho, that guy right there. Yeah. He's kind of mean to me. He always go to personnel, complain about any kind. And I'm like, he's asking the personnel clerk the laws and everything. I'm like, I'm not even from this country. What are you talking about? Okay, get this. When I moved in the US, I have a bachelor's degree in healthcare. I applied at the health department because my girlfriend said there's an opening for a clerk. I didn't know what is a clerk, what do they do? I have no idea. So I just went, talked story with the boss, the public health administrative officer, and he liked me. I didn't know, there's something about my personality. So he hired me right then and there. And yet, I don't know what kind of job am I gonna do? Well, so it goes that I would process new employees, new hirees' paperwork, if there's any workman's comp, all those legal things. I have no idea what to do, and I got the job just because I have a bachelor's degree. Why am I saying this? Because that's your ticket right there. You do have a training, you can apply for most of the jobs, especially for the state. You meet the minimum qualification. That was my redeeming grace. So I worked there for 5 years. Let me tell you, in 5 years, I was awarded Sustained Superior Service Award. Some people have to work their lifetime to get that. We did it all. We had a good team. Jackie Teves is right there. During Lingo's time, there was rifting. Employees were taken out of their jobs. Well, the position still needs to be filled. So the 3 clerks gang together. We were working, 3 of us was working 3 jobs each. We have to fulfill those positions. We're not paid for that, but we are public servants. We did it. And so that's why we were given that Sustained Superior Service Award thingamajig. Anyway, that's a side story. So I worked there 5 years, but I realized office work is just not me. I need to be moving, I need to be doing something. I cannot sit still. And I thought, wait, I have a physical therapy degree, and I think there's an opening at KVMH, so I applied. And then I got the job. And then I was so happy because I don't get to sit. Actually, they make me stand all the time, tugging and pulling on patients, walking them and everything. The only time I have to sit is when I have to use the toilet. That's the only break I get. But I'm very, very happy with my profession. And I find passion seeing people get back to their normal, seeing people out of their beds, seeing people out in the community and not bedbound. And so I'm really thankful for my job.
Okay, sure. I'll share quickly how I chose my career. For me, I kind of just tried a lot of different things and then ended up where I am. So I think sometimes we're afraid to try something because we don't know if we're going to like it or not. But it's okay to try and fail and then move on to something else, or maybe you might find something you really love that you never even knew. So just don't be afraid to try new things. Some things take a lot of investment, like to become a doctor, you do have to invest a lot of time and energy. So you want to consider that before you try some things. But a lot of other things you can just get out there and try, and the worst thing that can happen is you'll learn about yourself that you didn't like it. And then you can move on to something else that you do like. So just don't be afraid to try whatever you want to do.
So who's ever been a patient in a hospital? Yeah? Lots of you, huh? Well, when I was about your age, I was in a hospital for kind of a long time. And I learned about what nurses do. And that's basically what led me to my career. And then as a nurse, I was able to help babies come into this world and old people to leave this world. And it's just kind of been a precious journey. So I would encourage you to, volunteer, check it out, know what you love, and do it.
Some of you have already touched on this, so feel free to pass if you already spoke to this, but what do you like the most about your job or your career right now, and what do you find challenging?
What I like most about job is that, and what is challenging. So, what I like most about job and what is challenging is the same thing. So if I'm in practice as a general practitioner or family doctor, every day is a little different. So the routines might be the same. I'm going out to the clinic and starting to see patients early in the morning. There might be 20 patients in the schedule, and every patient might be slightly different. And that is very challenging. What I really like is that if I can help people, it's personally very satisfying and the patients like it. The second thing I like is let's say I am seeing a patient today of 20 different types of patients. Everyone seems to appreciate the service. I mean, can you imagine, just imagine this, you're working in a situation where everyone you see thanks you for your service. In addition, you get paid for it. So it is, I don't know, to me it's the best job ever. I mean, I don't know of anything that could be equal to this, but that's me personally.
So I really like diversity in my job. What that means is that I get to do a lot of things that every day looks a little bit different. I like to work in teams with people who have different skill sets from me. So what that allows me to do is to be able to work collaboratively and partner to support people. I like helping people. What I don't like about my job is called bureaucracy, and I define that as a lot of rules that don't really make sense or have a function.
My favorite part of the job is when I get the keikis like you, because I get to play with them. We do sports rehab. It's so fun. I also like working with the elderly, because they're the sweetest population ever. The aunties who love to bake, and at the end of our session, they always give something like a goodie or mango. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, that is a topping already. You don't always expect to get mangoes from aunties, your patients, but they insist, you have to have this mango. Thank you. What I don't necessarily like about my job, or maybe the challenge, is, I don't know, I mean, KVMH has been a good environment for me, and that's the reason why I chose to stay there. Nothing really is challenging enough to make me say, I don't want to go to work. I always look forward to going to work, even if my body is sore the day before, when I've been trying to lift a 300-pounder patient. That's challenging for me, yeah. For them, maybe not. I guess. Watch your weight, yeah. Watch your weight when you get to this job. Maybe much bigger, much better. Okay?
Okay, so the thing I enjoy most about my job is being able to interact with new people in the community, especially some of the youth. I don't know if you guys, many of you have been to our Play Streets events that we've done in Kekaha and in Lihue and in Hanahola, but it's so much fun. We have big events for the keiki to come out and play in this safe environment and get some exercise, and it's really enjoyable to watch all your work and effort come to fruition, that you get to see families out there having fun, playing basketball, throwing net, doing all sorts of things together, and it really brings a spirit of joy to the work that we do. The most challenging thing, and I think this is true for most people in public health probably, one of the biggest challenges we have is that we don't get paid a lot of money. It's the honest truth is that we could make more money doing other things in different businesses and selling cars or all sorts of tech companies and stuff like that, but I think the trade-off there is that you get to know that even though you might be limited in the funding that you get, and you maybe you don't get to buy a new PS5, or you can't travel every single vacation to somewhere fancy, but you do get the trade-off of knowing that the work you do is helping people. It's not just selling them the new item that they throw away after a year, but you're really making a difference in your community and making the world pretty much a healthier place and the place you want to raise your family in one day or have your family live in. So it is a challenge that you might not get paid as much if you choose to do a job that you think is helping everyone, but also you get the satisfaction of knowing that the work you do matters.
I'm going to start off with the worst part of my job, and that is waking up at 5 a.m. to an alarm. Who likes to do that? Yeah, no. You do. There are morning people and there are night people, and I'm definitely a night person. I will say though, as a nurse, you can do whatever you want. You can work night shifts, you can work weekends, you can work when nobody else is there, and that I think is the favorite part, because I can choose what I want to do when I want to do it.
All right. Come on, everybody, keep it going for our panelists. And are we good? Are we okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna.
That's it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Just one last question.
Yeah. Okay.
True or false? You can shout it out. What? Kaua'i has enough health professionals. True. If you take nothing else away, I want you to know Kaua'i needs more of these types of health professionals. That's one of the reasons why we're talking to you today. Thank you very much for paying attention.
One more time, everybody. Come on, give it up. Keep it going. So hopefully that inspired you guys to start thinking, especially our high school students back there who's thinking about doing the medical field. Awesome. Okay, if you have tickets, by the way, please, if you can hear my voice in the back, make sure you fill out the evaluation. It'll help us really understand how we can make the conference better, change things. Please fill out your evaluations. Okay. I'm gonna do some giveaways.